Hello and good evening to the welcome to the very first Aleeza Isa interviews, and I hope not the very last. I want to say a massive thank you to Aya for giving me such a warm and wonderful welcome, but she added in a few bits that I didn't know were in there. So we've got an amazing evening lined up for you. You've already had the drinks and the canapes, apart from those of you who arrived suitably late. We've got some incredible people warming our sofas tonight. And now, of course, it is time for the main event. Me! No, I'm joking. It is, of course, my guest. We have Zaffer Khan, the CEO of One Voice Blackburn, talking to us about all things One Voice and how One Voice came to be. And we also have the unique story of a woman whose life was saved by a remarkable transplant. Listen, even a blood test freaks me out. So what Anie Hussain has been through is nothing short of a minor miracle. So, this is the Aleeza Isa interview set. I'm Aleeza Isa, I'm 16 years old. I started my A-levels this week, and for all of my sins, I've had to endure education at Queen Elizabeth's Grammar School since the age of 4. So all of my schooling has always been in one place, and what's more, the people at One Voice have decided to give me my very own show. Now, will I be the figure that brings this aspirational charity to its knees, or will I elevate it into the realms of greatness? I guess we'll find out tonight. Now, as you may or may not be aware, this is not the only event we do. The One Voice Awards Dinner has been running since 2013, and in 2024, we prided ourselves on having young hosts as always. Now, however, sadly, in 2025, there will be no awards dinner due to King George's Hall having a revamp. It is truly an amazing event though, and it's one where we get to celebrate our community's achievements, and it's one that I've actually had the pleasure of hosting myself back in 2023. So I guess we can all agree that the amazing hosting is always a plus. Now, I have with me the girls who absolutely smashed it out of the park earlier this year, back in February. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to the One Voice Awards Show host 2024, Zainab and Aisha. Zainab, Aisha, this is weird. I see you every week. How are you both?
Good.
Any nerves?
Yeah.
Yes, very nervous. Okay, well, talk to me about the awards dinner. You both hosted it. You hosted it in 2024, in February this year, actually. Talk to me about it.
Crazy. Honestly, though, I was really nervous, but it was really fun. It was amazing.
Can you all hear her at the back? No. Speak up, please.
Okay. It was really fun, and I had such an amazing time, but I was really nervous. And I know that Aleeza saw me before, and I was dreading it.
She was dreading it.
Yeah. But later on, it was really fun, and I had an amazing time.
So you two were actually at rehearsals. I know because I did it as well. We were at rehearsals in September, and the awards dinner is in February. So talk to me about that preparation and that rehearsal. How important is that? Do you feel like on the night you're almost over-prepared in a way?
Nothing can really prepare you for the night, but I feel like doing that from September really helped me. And I know that our favourite part was going to the shops before.
That's the only reason why you went. It's because our main offices are at Exchange Street right next to town. So they quite literally came in rehearsals and then went to the shops. Is that right? Is that accurate?
That is what we did.
So at the awards dinner, we have one host on the stage and one on the floor interviewing people. Now, Zainab, you did the interviewing part of the hosting and you did the bit on the stage. Tell me, do you feel like what Zainab had to do was harder or easier?
I feel like what I did was very, very hard. I mean, we used to go to WEGs and we used to be talking, and I used to have my script and I used to be like, oh, how many lines did you get? And she'd be like, oh, I got 2 paragraphs. And I'd be like, what? I got 2 pages. And we'd just be learning our scripts in WEGs. But I feel like what we both did, I feel like those roles were really, really hard.
Well, One Voice are either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid for putting young people on stage. But tell me, how did hosting the award benefit you?
Definitely confident boosting. I feel like because I got to talk to a lot of more people that was older than me, and I feel like I got a little bit more confident after that. Definitely.
What about you, Aisha? You can't say confidence now.
I feel like it just made me feel so much better. I was so happy after doing it. I was just amazed. I was like, oh my God, I never thought I'd be able to do this. It just prepared me for so much more that I'm going to do in the future.
Well, both of you are WEGs. WEGs is it's called West End Girls. It's a girls' empowerment group. And both of you are part of it. I was once a WEG. Tell me, why do you think you were chosen to host the awards dinner from WEGs?
Honestly, I have no clue.
Do you think it was a good decision or a bad decision?
Part both.
What about you, Aisha? Do you know why?
I feel like we were both very, we were always attending all of the sessions. We were always there. We always put our hands up to do any public speaking that was going on in WEGS. We always said we want to do it. And we always just, we were friends before that, and we were very close.
Come on, Ash, you can say it. You can say it. It's because you thought you were the best. Say it. Say it. Get it over and done with.
No, I think we were both very good at what we did, and we did public speaking before that, so we were very prepared.
You were always very prepared. So did you feel nervous on the night?
Well, I mean, I was very nervous behind the curtain. I was so scared, but as the night went on, I got more and more used to it, and it just became more and more natural.
Well, that's good then. It's sorted then. And you were incredibly nervous, Zainab, so talk to me about that.
I remember before we were trying to go through the interviews together, and I just didn't get it. I just felt like I was making it awkward. And then I remember going backstage, and then I was just worrying about other stuff after that, because I remember my sister didn't bring my makeup, and I was just stressing about my makeup.
Such big problems. No makeup. You can't do an awards dinner with no makeup, right?
But then when I came out and I did my makeup, then I was worrying about the dinner. But then later it kind of
After you did your makeup, you were worrying about the dinner.
Yeah.
So there were
Makeup comes
500
first.
people in that whole picture, and Zainab's backstage, not thinking about her lines, but thinking about her makeup. Your makeup looked fine on the day, though, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a warm round of applause for the One Voice Awards host, Zainab and Aisha. Now, we are thrilled to have with us someone whose life was saved by a unique transplant. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Manchester, please give a warm round of applause to Anie Hussain. Anie, hi.
Hello.
So, a stem cell transplant saved your life. I mean, that is crazy. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a long story, but we'll go back to 2012, which is literally, God, it's ages ago now. Feels like a lifetime ago. I was 17, which is obviously not far off from your age right now. Was clearly not doing these like exciting events though. Yeah, so I started getting headaches out of nowhere. I must say, like, I was quite an active person when I was 17. I was going to sixth form. I was coming back. I was always sneaking to the shops as well. Yeah, I was like taking part in sports, in theatre, in art. I was baking. I was honestly, there was no indication that I was ill whatsoever. And then all of a sudden I started getting headaches. I started to feel really out of breath after like the smallest distance. So I'd walk from my house to like the top of the road, and it would feel as if, you know, when you're running for the bus and you can feel your heart pumping in your fingertips and your heart. And I would feel like this all the time. I started sleeping for almost 20 hours a day. Would fall asleep with my toothbrush in my mouth because I couldn't even stay awake for 2 minutes. And then my parents kind of forced me. I am terrible with blood and needles.
Me too.
Awful. And I did not expect that the next couple of years would be like completely surrounded by them. So my dad forced me to have a blood test it was a Friday at 3 p.m. And then the Saturday, they told me that if there were any issues, I would get a phone call by Wednesday. If not, probably wouldn't hear back from them. I was like, fine, went back to bed. At 3 o'clock in the morning the following day.
3 o'clock again?
Saturday,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's very, very spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Someone should write a film about me. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, we got a knock at the door. We just thought it was a neighbour that was knocked out or locked out, sorry, or something.
Or knocked out.
Yeah, or knocked out. And it was a doctor who came to the house with blue flashing lights and said, "Is this the house of Anie Hussain? Because you need to get to hospital right now." And immediately, I just remember my mum came upstairs and she told me I need to go to hospital, and she was freaked out and she looked like she was going to cry, but all I could feel, like, I was just so relieved. I was like, oh, wow, there's a reason for why I've been feeling so rubbish for so long. Like, I haven't been making up in my head. You know, sometimes when you, like, get a tummy ache and then you go, oh, I must have this illness, and then you go, oh no, I've made it all up. But this was like, oh, thank God, like, I'm going to get a solution.
Got a reason,
I'm going to feel better, like, the doctors will help. And then we fast forward to 3 o'clock the following
Again.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's more than a coincidence.
I
now.
know, right? I sat down and a doctor was sat next to me. My dad was by my shoulder, and he said, "There's no easy way to say this, but you've got blood cancer." And the films have it pinpoint accurate. You don't hear another word. It all is such a blur. I think I asked my dad whether I was going to die. Also, I was 17, so all I could care about was losing my hair and what I looked like, which is so silly because the next couple of years did not prepare me for the fact that, you know, I might be losing my life, I might be losing friends, I might be, you know, there are so many other things that I could have been thinking about. So yeah, let's fast forward. I had lots of chemotherapy, I had antibody treatment, and in the end, the doctor said that the only way that I was going to survive was if I had a stem cell transplant. I know you're doing some sciencey A-levels. I think you guys,
Started this week,
yeah.
so I don't trust my science knowledge yet, okay?
So stem cells, for people who don't know, are these magical cells that if you have a blood cancer or a blood disorder, they're damaged, and stem cells can actually do the job that the damaged blood cancer patient cells aren't doing. So having a transplant can effectively cure you. Now, what I didn't think about or what I didn't know was how difficult it was to find a match to save my life so that I could have that transplant.
Yeah. So what was your problem with the match? Why couldn't you find a match?
So partly, it's because I'm ethnic minority background. There is a problem with there's not enough ethnic minorities on the register, and people find the best matches from the people from the same ethnic background usually. In order to have a successful match, you need to have a 9 out of 10. It's very complicated, very sciencey. 9 out of 10 match on the register, otherwise it's just not worth the risk. And a lot of my friends also were on the register and waiting, and they didn't get matches. So it's really, really tough out there. I had to wait for 6-7 months before I was even on the worldwide register, and there was still nothing out there. Whereas I had friends who were literally in wards next to me. They were told that they needed a transplant, and the next day they were able to find my one friend, Pagan. She had 4 matches, which is incredible. Like, when it works, like, it really does work, and it just like encourages me more and more to get people onto this register, because we can save lives, and I just think that's flawless.
I mean, talk me through that donation process then.
Yeah, so depending on how good you are with blood and needles, I won't go too graphic.
Please don't. I don't want to faint on stage.
You want a nice, on these very plush
This
sofas,
is my first show, Annie. We
yeah,
can't be doing it. Leave it for the 5th. You guys are still here.
So to actually give, 9 times out of 10 of the cases, you have to give through the peripheral blood stem cell donation.
Well remembered.
PBSE. And it's essentially like when people give blood. So you have an injection in one arm, and then they, like this weird filter machine, and that spins all your blood, and then they filter out all the stem cells, and that goes in like one pocket, and then your rest of your healthy blood is just given back to you. And I know people who've donated through this way. My friend Nev actually donated, and he played football like that afternoon. So actually the main concern that I've heard a lot of people say is that actually you just have to sit still for 5 hours, and you have to use a bedpan.
Okay, well, I think I have one big question when it comes to your story. I mean, you went through something so traumatic at such a young age. I can't even begin to, and I'm sure both of us can't even begin to even think about how horrible or difficult it might be to go through something like that. And I think if I went through something like that, I would want to block it out my mind. But you do the complete opposite, and you choose to sit here in a room full of people and retell it all and relive it all. I mean, why?
So I think at the start, I definitely had almost like PTSD, and I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. But what spurs me on is knowing that I'm doing it in honour of all those friends and all those people I know who should be here today, but didn't get those life-saving matches, who aren't here, and all I can think about and all I can hear are their parents and their friends saying, you know what, like, my sister should be here, or my brother should be here, or my best friend should be here. And I'm here thinking, do you know what, if we can sign up more people, all it takes is one person to be one match to save one person's life. Like, I wouldn't be here today. And like, yeah. So that's
me. So talk to me about the Anthony Nolan register. Is that the same donation process as the other one, or is it
Yeah,
Slightly different for everyone in the room.
Yeah, so it's, oh, sorry. Just
No, it's okay. You're all right.
Yeah, God, just hits you.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, so the anti-knowing register is actually so simple. It's really easy. You do it all online, or you can do it through a form. But you honestly, all you have to do is fill out some details. Sorry, it's just hit me more than I thought it was going to. I will finish it and move on. No. This is why it's so important, I think. I would just not have a shake in my voice.
No, it's
very
okay.
sexy, is it?
It's okay.
So to sign up to the register, yeah, you just need to fill out a form online, and then you get a cheeky swab is what they call it, which is what we all know and what we've all done.
Accustomed to after COVID.
So many times. So it's literally you take a swab of the cheek, make sure you haven't had a chocolate cake before, because I have seen some swabs that have been sent back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not very nice. And then if you are a good enough match, and that's usually like what you can tell from the cheek cells, then you have to go and you have to donate, well, you have to give just a vial of blood, and then that's tested. And if you are a close enough match, they'll be able to tell from that process, from that blood sample, and then you go on to donate.
So it is quite literally that easy. On that note, can I have a warm round of applause for Anie? Get ready to go. Now, our next guest was one of the slightly insane people who decided to give me my very own show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for the CEO of One Voice Blackburn, Zaffer Khan. Well, this isn't bad, is it, Zaffer? I mean, you chose this room to do this event in, and it's been here for ages, I found out. So talk to me, tell me about this room.
Been here since the late 1800s, or the mid 1800s actually. We go back to 1983.
Wow.
I was in the last year of primary school, that you'd call it year 6 now, I think. And I got chosen for a prose and public speaking competition from my school Wednesday Fold. And there I rocked up, me and somebody else from year 6, and there was a girl in year 5, which I'll mention more later. And we came to this lovely room, which is my favourite room in the whole of Blackburn by a mile.
Mine is still my bedroom. But...
Yes. And when we came here, there was obviously young people from various other schools, and yeah, we took part in a public speaking / prose competition.
How did you do?
I was awful.
Of course.
I was absolutely awful. I was like,
okay.
I was in the bottom.
It's not the way I was expecting it to go.
Yeah, no, not at all. You know, like when you're at school and you're thinking, I'm really good at something, and then you turn up somewhere and it's like the whole of the town, the best in the town, really. And actually, I'm not that good. But what was really interesting, the girl who came, one of the girls who came third was the girl who was from our school, but she was like the year below us, and
right.
she was like, so basically this was the year 6s effectively, and she was a year 5, and she came third. So on the way back, so the 3 of us went back. She had a certificate sort of thing going on and everything, and I don't know whether it was a teacher's car we went back in. I think you could do that in those days, and or it was a taxi or something, and I tried to make conversation with her, and she blanked me.
Of course you would. You came last.
You know, she sort of totally blanked me. And I thought, oh my God.
Came last. She's not going to talk to you.
She's called Sophie. And yeah, I remember that as though it was yesterday. That was my first experience of this, and I've come back and I thought, you know what, I'm going to smash it. But then I realised I'm with you, so. You know.
Is that a compliment? Okay. Well, so was that your first experience in public speaking?
Yes, pretty much, and probably the last.
You've done interview type things before.
Yes.
I heard you've interviewed some famous people.
Oh yes. Well, I've been interviewed by some famous people as well now. But when I was at Blackburn College, so I went to Blackburn College, as a lot of people will know here, for my A-levels. And whilst I was doing my A-levels, I was also doing a media course with a few other people in this room as well. And one of our tutors, he was a bit flamboyant, and he said, Zaffer, who would you most like to interview? This is 1990. And I said, Kenny Dalglish. So he was the Pep Guardiola of the day, right? But bigger, much bigger.
Thanks for the context. I'm not a football
much bigger.
person.
And the thing was, he never did interviews.
Hang on, this is a Liverpool thing.
Yeah,
Do we have Liverpool fans here?
That's good.
That's what I like to hear.
We're losing people. We're losing people.
That's what we like to hear, okay?
He never did interviews, Aleeza. So I thought, all right, I'll write to him. And then I remember this day, as though it was yesterday, so it's September the 11th, 1990. And I got a letter, and it Liverpool crest on it. And letters, I don't know if that's a thing for you guys these days. And I thought, oh, that's really nice of them. At least they've sent a letter to say...
Rejection letter.
A rejection letter saying, thank you very much, but no thanks. And it said on there, it said, would you, thank you for your letter, blah, blah, blah. And would you kindly come to Anfield Road Stadium on the 27th, I think it was, of September. And this was Kenny Dalglish's PA. And I was just looking at this letter thinking, what the hell?
That'd be a mistake, wrong address.
So I got to interview Kenny Dalglish, and I became a little bit of a mini celebrity because people interviewed me for interviewed Kenny Dalglish. And what was really bizarre is he left Liverpool after about 6 months, not because of me, but he just left, and he became manager of Blackburn Rovers.
That wasn't because of you.
No,
but saying it wasn't because of you.
And I was very fortunate. And the thing, what happened was, Aleeza, is that I went to Blackburn College, and as everyone knows, and what was really great about it is because like a lot of educational institutions, establishments, will get you good grades. So with Blackburn College, but it has the ability, Blackburn College this is, to change your life. And that moment changed my life.
So you've interviewed someone, and now you're watching me interview people. Tell me whose interview was better. Not told him I was going to ask him that, but tell me.
I think mine was better because I had hair then, as you can probably see from the monitors.
Oh, it's on the monitors. Oh, I've got to have a look. So you were a young person, you interviewed someone at a young age, and now you put young people on stage and you put them at the forefront of events. For those of you who don't know, this isn't the only event where we have young people on stage. We have the awards dinner that's hosted by young people, many presentations and events, etc. So tell me, where did that idea come from? Is that not a risk to put someone so young in the middle of something?
Easy. It's easy. We have got so much good talent in this town that it's the easiest thing to do to give you an opportunity, give Aisha and Zainab an opportunity, and many others. And it's not just One Voice, it's lots of other organisations in this town who have got a lot of really good young people. We're very lucky. People are lazy, Aleeza. What they often do is they will think, oh, we've got an event coming on, 450 people, King George's Hall. Wow, let's hire somebody, pay them thousands of pounds, and a radio celebrity or a TV celebrity or whoever. That's lazy, in my humble opinion. We don't do the risk. You are not a risk at all. And lots of young people, we just give you a platform. And no one's ever let us down. We've been doing this for about 8, 9, maybe around about a decade.
No one's let you down?
No one's let us down so far.
So far.
And neither did you. When you hosted the awards dinner in front of 450 people, about 18 months ago, you were fantastic. And so were these young ladies and the gentlemen. And all of these people are from our community.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about that, actually. So, Blackburn, you have this passion for Blackburn. I mean, we are One Voice Blackburn. Why don't we expand out?
So we do some work around stem cell. An organ donation, which is national now, luckily. We do some work in Preston, we do some work in East Lancashire, but we are One Voice Blackburn. This is a conversation that the trustees of One Voice, who are the custodians, and I have these conversations all the time about expansion. But our view is that there's a lot to do in Blackburn. There are a lot of health inequalities, sadly, and we need to look at them, us alongside others, the health authorities, the hospitals, etc. We need to develop young people and work with those young people. We are very aspirational. We don't want to, just because you're 16, doesn't mean you can't do an event like this. And there's lots of people that we need to serve, our members and the wider public. So for the moment, I think it will be One Voice Blackburn, but who knows in the future, but for the moment it is One Voice Blackburn.
There's an opportunity for there to be a One Voice something else? Somewhere else?
Yeah, I think most of us involved know Blackburn very well. I like to think so. And it's hard to go somewhere else, to sort of decamp somewhere and think, you need the intelligence to be able to do that. And I don't think we have that at the moment. So, yeah.
So do you think you get that passion for Blackburn because you lived and grew up in Blackburn?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate. I mean, I went to university, worked in Manchester and London, still do a little bit in London now. But we came back, like everyone else in One Voice, the senior leadership team. They've done some amazing things in their life, but they want to give back, and they want to give back to the communities that sort of helped us. And I think what was really important is that when I meet people up and down the country over the years, childhood really impacts your life. I've met some really successful people and rich people, and then you think, wow, but they talk about the childhood, and it brings some of them brings them down. And I sometimes think, well, these people are like really successful. What's wrong with you? And it's often to do with childhood. And what we try to do at One Voice is try to change the lives of young people. So when you are older, you will have all these experiences to look back on and think, wasn't that great?
Yeah.
You know, so we want to change the lives of children, young people and their families. And we want to do it in the communities that helped us.
So I want to rewind a moment. We've talked about One Voice today. Let's go all the way back. You've been here for so long. Not to make you sound old, sorry. That was totally unintentional. But how did you get involved with One Voice?
I think at the time, I think it was 2011, 12 when One Voice was set up by a group of like-minded people. I wasn't involved at the time. And about a year or two later, I sort of got myself involved, and the then chair had a conversation. I got involved with the marketing side of things, because that's my background along with the journalism. And then 2015, I was made sort of CEO, and I've held that position since then. We've grown from an organisation to a CIC to now a flourishing charity. And, you know, I've been very lucky to have that, because I used to live a stone throw away from here. I used to come here, as I mentioned to you, we've got a King George's Hall to watch the wrestling back in the early 80s, the proper wrestling, Aleeza, not WWF, and CGI. So this is home. This is my home.
So Anie, how did you get involved?
So I was lucky enough to be introduced to Nazia, who works at One Voice, and I did a video call when I was talking about Auntie Nolan, and just her enthusiasm and encouragement just instantly won me over. And I think, honestly, just hearing an organisation that is so passionate about healthcare, about young people, and about, you know, trying to break down barriers and trying to increase awareness of things in a local community, just, yeah, won my heart over.
Well, I'm just going to say the big question on my mind now. I can't wait to leave Blackburn, Zaffer. Ask my mum and dad, I can't wait to leave. But you left, you went to the big city, you did all of that, and then you came back. Why?
Yeah, I wonder that sometimes, yeah.
To work with people like me is what you're supposed to
The food's better in Blackburn, Aleeza, as you know.
Food's better.
The food's better in Blackburn, and, you know, this is home. I think what we say to young people like you, we always say, go and branch out, do other things, this, you know, and so forth. But ultimately, you know, this will always be my home. And for that reason, like I mentioned to you, the One Voice trustees, a lot of them, alongside myself, you know, I've done some amazing things, and they've come back. And I think this is where I'll always be, I think, and this is home. I have been out, I do go out, and you learn that, and you bring it back into this town, and you give the town that energy by going out sometimes. I think I sometimes go to some meetings, and some senior leaders in this town often say to me, we need to keep people in. No, I think we let them fly and then find their way back home, because you will never, there's people who've lived here all their lives and think, what if, do the what if, and then you realise, actually, I've learnt all that, and now I can sort of do things back here. The one thing I would want to change, if I'm honest with you, is I would like to see future leadership positions in this town given to people from Blackburn, or they move to Blackburn. So as I mentioned Blackburn College earlier, I think in the audience we have Dr. Fazil Dad. He's moved from the Midlands to Blackburn. Obviously Blackburn is a much better place, but and he's moved because he's the principal of Blackburn College, so he needs to be here. I would like to see the future leader, CEO of Blackburn Borough Council.
Hang on.
To be from the
Didn't you live in Manchester, or live in Blackburn, work in Manchester, live in Manchester, work in London? What's going on, Zaffer?
Yeah.
Back though.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
but you said you should live in the city that you work in.
Yeah, I think in my role there weren't those opportunities available in Blackburn, and I worked with some bigger organisations that were around. So yeah, I could be accused of being a hypocrite, I suppose, to those senses. But my role didn't specifically impact the people of this town. So what I would like to see is, you know, the heads of the local hospital here either move to Blackburn or live or be from Blackburn, because we've got some great leaders in this town, and they should be given the opportunities. Also, all of these, you know, positions in terms of, we've got some of the best schools in the country now, and they're from Blackburn. You know, we've got some of the biggest business people in the world. They're from Blackburn, so we've got a lot going for ourselves.
Best interviewers from Blackburn.
Are you talking about me or you, Aleeza?
Me. Okay, so have you achieved everything you want in Blackburn here with One Voice, or is there more to do, or is it more about maintaining what you've built and created now?
If you know me well enough, Aleeza, you know I have a million ideas in my head.
Yeah.
And about 99,000 of them will probably bankrupt us. So our trustees keep me very level-headed, and we grow incrementally, and we're very proud of growing incrementally. We don't want to get too big for our boots or anything like that. But we've got a lot of talent in this town, and we need to nurture it. We do have those health inequalities. We have some leadership issues as well in some areas that we want to improve on. But we feel that we can do that.
So, on the note of trying to improve Blackburn, this is a fundraising event, right? So where are all the buckets?
So.
Because I don't see.
We've done that. We did that in the early days. And tell you that was tough. Probably we're a cashless society now, Aleeza, as well. So yeah. So you won't see buckets.
Card machines.
Yeah, possibly. In fairness, funnily enough, somebody walked into the room and gave me a cheque. And we'd be more than willing to accept more checks. Oh yeah.
What are checks? What are checks?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, you know, kind of thing. But somebody gave me a check, and if so many more people can give us checks, that'd be great.
I still don't know what a check is.
Yes. Google it later,
Okay.
Aleeza. No, on a serious note, though, what we've got is this is the first show of hopefully many, and apart from Anie, you'll see many other better guests than me and others, and the level of
Zainab and Aisha aren't looking very happy with that.
Yeah, well, you know, they're sort of has-beens now because they've done the big thing. So we'll get the calibre of Anie and sort of minor celebrities, and we're treating this an opportunity, giving people an opportunity to showcase what we do as an organisation, a charity, the sort of work that we do. And we're looking for businesses and organisations who are willing to sort of back us, support us, financially, obviously, so we can do more of this work. Because we need to do that, and we need to grow that. But we're going to do it subtly, not like buckets. We've done that before, and tell you, that's hard.
Right.
It's hard counting that money. But like I said, we've got some fantastic supporters now. We've got people like MCM Accounting who are here today, who've put their faith in us. In terms of sort of the work that we do. So they are one of many now, and we want to grow that network of our supporters. So, you know, a few people here might be getting a phone call or an email or a WhatsApp message, because, you know, we do need to do that.
I hope I've impressed those people. Have I impressed you all? I hope so. So, you've been CEO for a long time. You've seen, I mean, countless awards dinners, so many health projects, etc. Tell me, is this the last job you're ever going to do?
Well, if they get rid of me tomorrow, probably not. But
After this show, they're not getting rid of you for ages.
Yeah, no. I'd like to think that, but that's possibly being presumptuous, thinking people would want me here. I don't think I'll ever leave Blackburn to do anything else. I would love this to be my forever job, but that will be a little bit unfair, because I do think the reins need to go to somebody else at some point in the near future, and who knows, you know. So, and that's also being presumptuous, because people are going to probably think, well, have you got enough money to retire? Probably not. But I don't need a lot to live on. So
are you nervous about the next CEO? Do you ever get a bit nervous about what they're going to do with your awards dinner?
I think the next CEO will choose himself or herself. I don't think I'll be doing the choosing. They'll be basically picking themselves, and who knows, it might be somebody very young, and it might be somebody not so young, but you know, that time will be their time.
Okay, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing evening. I hope to see you on lots more Aleeza Isa interview shows if they continue after this one. I'll let you know after I have a chat with Zaffer after this. Thank you for joining us tonight. And yeah, that's about it, I think. I have been Aleeza Isa. Thank you so much and have a good night.